I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Hey everyone, Scott Nygaard here with your Roots and Bluegrass Rhythm Guitar course. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the great old Flatt and Scruggs song, Some Old Day, and also looking at sort of a medium tempo, swingy kind of feel, which we're going to use this. Flatt and Scruggs recorded this early 60s, and it was also kind of made more popular by Tony Rice's version that he recorded with JD Crowe in the 70s. Great song about being in prison. Well, okay, it's country music after all, right? So for this, it's more of a medium tempo swing. You can sort of hear that at the beginning that I played. We want to get that nice swingy feel into our rhythm. If you looked at my video on upstrokes, you know that upstrokes are really important to getting that swing feel. If we're playing and we want to have that dun 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 kind of feel, we can't really communicate that without playing upstrokes. If I just play that pattern, you don't really know if it's swinging or not. It could be swinging. Other people could be playing. The fiddle could be playing da 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 and making it swing, but it could also be going. Could have that feel. You really don't know until you get those upstrokes in, right? So the pattern we're going to work on, we're going to do a boom chukka, boom chukka, boom chukka, boom chukka, boom. That's our basic pattern here. Be playing that through all the chords if we can. Now you don't have to play all those upstrokes all the time, but if you're not used to that pattern, it's a good idea to really kind of get that down. So if we look at that, we're going to play a downstroke on the D, and then you can play that strum really on the top 2 or 3 strings. When you think about coming back up with that upstroke, pretty straightforward because your pick is already down there from that strum, right? You should be able to come right back up. You can even play that D bass note with a rest stroke. Either way. Okay? And then the next part of that, so you can just play that pattern. Alternate your basses there, D and A. Okay. You can also do a little booma chukka. If I'm alternating there, I can come. So I'm going to get that bass note A, and then I'll come up with another upstroke there, just a single note on the 3rd string, and then my strum after that. So that's our pattern. So you can really work on that. And like I said, you don't have to play all those upstrokes all the time, but they'll really get that sense of swing in there. And try and work on that dun 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 to really get that swing feel in there. Okay. So this song has 4 chords, not 3. We're going to play our D chord, pretty much the way we normally play a D chord. We can play a G chord. And we're going to play an E7 chord. You can play that. You can play a regular E chord. It sounds nice. This song is has a nice little bluesy flavor, so you can get that nice little E7 there. We're just going to play it with our 1st and 2nd fingers, and then an A chord or 5 chord. Okay. Now, there's a few different ways to finger an A chord, and I've found that it's helpful to kind of play around with different ways. You can play an A7 chord in this song as well because it's got that nice bluesy flavor. Sort of standard way to finger an A chord would be like this, with your like 3 fingers all sort of scrunched together there. Okay, that's one kind of normal way to play it. Some people play it like this. That's fine. One thing about that that's nice is to get an A7 chord. You just lift off your first finger so you can get it that way. You can do the same thing here by lifting off your second finger. Depending on the size of your fingers, I've found that can be kind of a scrunchy little chord there. And if you've got big fingers, one thing is see how far back my first finger is there on the frets. It's all the way back here. Now, I would normally recommend that whenever you're fretting something, you're playing close to the fret to keep from buzzing. But if you're playing this chord, your finger has to be all the way back there. And if you have fatter fingers than mine, it may be almost all the way back to that first fret. And it may be hard to get that finger to fret very well. So you might want to play around with that a little bit. You might be able to scrunch your fingers together a little better with that way. Some people will be able to play this with 1 bar of their first finger. Right? You could do that. I actually am able to do that simply because I'm a double jointed first finger. Most people, that's the only finger of mine that works. But that can work. What I've tended to do a lot lately is play it like that. Okay? And what this does for me, so what I'm doing is I'm kind of barring the 4th and the 3rd strings there, and then I'm playing the 2nd string there with my 2nd finger. So that's a nice way to play A. And one thing about that you'll notice is that my fingers can get closer to the fret than they would if they were back here. Right? If I'm playing that, my fingers are right there on the fret. It's going to be easier to play it and get it clean without having to put a whole lot of pressure on. And then to play that A7 chord, I just lift up the bar. Okay. So there's all those ways to play that A chord, A7 chord. I would recommend trying them all and seeing which works best for you. Okay, let's look at a couple bass runs we could play on this song. People often think of bass runs as just being some way to get from one chord to the next. But when you're playing a song, especially if you're singing that song and most of the lyric or vocal lines happen on the transition places going from one chord to the next, you don't really want to play a bass line in that instance. So you need to think about bass lines more like punctuating wherever the holes in the song are. So let me just play through a verse and let's see where we might find some places to play bass runs. There may not be a whole lot of places. Let's see where there are. So we've got, I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Now here's the first real hole we have, right? But I'm not changing chords. I'm right on that A chord. So you'll notice so far there hasn't been a whole lot of time to play any bass runs. Let's go on for the rest of the verse and see if there's any time there. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Again, here's another pause. So on that first instance, we're just hanging on an A chord. We've got a little pause. And then right at the end, we've got we're back to the 1, and we've got a little pause there. So in a way, we think about using that typical G run. We would have played in G as a little period. We can do that same thing on the D chord, or at least find something that fills that function. Maybe a little harder to play. You could do that one. You could do something maybe a little simpler. So we've got, oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Okay, so there's one bass run. I think I've notated that as bass run number 1. So that's a nice way to do it. You can just play a bass run that's even just the end of that. Some old day. Something that fills that space. You could do the full G run in the key of D. I find that I don't do that very often. I put that in the music as bass run number 2. I usually try and do something that's a little bit different, but you can use that nice little minor third to major third motif down there. Find something that kind of works in there just for those two or three bars right at the end. Now you'll notice there was a little pause in the middle there on the A chord, right? So we could put something in there. We're not going to another chord, but we could do a little fill on the A chord, sort of the same way we did there at the D chord. So one thing you could do would be, okay, so if I've got that second line, oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day, some sweet day. And see how it fit kind of right in the middle there. So those are a couple bass run ideas. You could try little variations on those, but as long as they fit right in that amount of time, it'll work. And you'll notice on that A, so I'm just going to play the A chord, boom, chuck, and then I'm going to start my run and end on the A. It's always good to end on the root there on the downbeat. That allows you to get right back into the strum. So, or you could even go get a little bluesier there. Anything that goes from that place and ends on the A, so you can get right back into your pattern. Okay, before we go through the whole song, I want to just point out something in the chorus of this song. There are a couple different ways to use the timing or play the timing on this. Flatt and Scruggs' original recording did it one way, Tony Rice did it another way, and I think people pretty much are doing it the way Tony has done it. But let me sing that chorus, at least the first line, and I'll show you what I mean. So it goes up to the G chord. Some old day you'll weep for me and pray. So that's the way Tony sang it. The way Lester sang it was, some old day you'll weep for me and pray. You notice the difference there? Here's Tony's version, sort of the standard version. Some old day, 2, 3, 4, you'll weep for me and pray. Lester left out a beat in there. Some old day, 2, 3, you'll weep for me and pray. Okay, so you may hear people doing it different ways. You may decide you want to sing it one way over the next. They both have antecedents. They both been done that way. So pick which way you like. You make sure people are ready for you. You're the singer, so you're leading the song. But that's the only really odd timing thing here in this song. Okay, let's go through the entire song. We'll kind of work on that strum swingy pattern. Get in some bass runs if you feel like it. And on the chorus, I'm gonna sing Tony's version. It's just the way I'm used to it. Give it a try however you like it. Here we go. Some old day. I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day you'll weep for me and pray. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Oh, dear mother, I've hurt you so. I've been cruel to you, I know. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Tell my brother, my sister, and dad, tell the dear friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you'll weep for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. All right, that's Some Old Day. One note about the key. I think Lester sang this in F for F sharp. Tony sang it in G. You'll notice I'm way down in D. You can put your capo on, move this all the way up to G if you want to, up at the 5th fret. Find a key that works best for you. I think I usually sing this in E or F. That works pretty well for me, but you can play this out of D position and try and figure out what key works best for you. I've been working out in the rain, tied to